Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we're gonna take a look, of course, again at the Great League, where we're going to try out the new Dragon and Ice type Pokemon Arctibax or something like this. I'm not sure about it, but this is definitely the mid-stage evolution of the newly released pseudo-legendary line around Frigibax, so definitely a cool Pokemon here, as you can see already by the moveset. You're going to have Dragon Breath, you're going to have Dragon Claw, as well as Avalanche, which is an insane moveset, and this is also the moveset of the evolution of it, but the evolution has lower stat product for the Great League, so we're going to take the mid-stage evolution right now, and of course around it we're going to have a very lame core of Lickitung plus the Gligar. Gligar is your main answer for both the Medicham as well as the Registeel. Lickitung to bait out those Medichams as well as Registeel, as you don't really want to face them with your Frigibax evolution there of Arctibax. And otherwise, this team works out super well. Have to say that I did play pretty horribly in a lot of the matchups, but I actually still went way positive with this team. And I also had a 5-0 with this team, which was really nice to see. But yeah, otherwise I'm just a little bit tired, it's late at night, so don't mind me too much about it. Here we're going to actually be able to catch a move onto our good Dragon Boy. I mean, look at him. It's just frogging around there. Look how he just jumps up and forth there. Like, it's just such a fun Pokemon. We're going to see that we're going to be able to shield up the Exeter from the opponent as they're going to swap out into the Lantern. We completely hardwall Lantern with this Pokemon. Of course, you could have better IVs on this Pokemon, but actually we get -1 directly to 1499, which is nice. This was a lucky one. Like, I traded this one and it went lucky immediately, so it was pretty cheap to build, and also, of course, you don't really see that many of them like running around, to be fair, in the wild, so it's a little bit tricky to get this Pokemon still. Of course, I used a lot of rare candies, so if you appreciate this type of content, trying to check out those new Pokemon, feel free to leave a like on the video, as well as subscribe if you haven't already. Here, for this game, we're going to be able to just farm them down with my Arctibax, as Arctibax even going to claim the final kill here against the opponent's Lantern, and we can move on into the next game. This is going to be Obstagoon against us. This is going to be amazing for us because it's exactly the lead that we want to face. We want to see the Obstagoon in the lead against our team, as our backline is really struggling against them. I'm going to no-shield the first move as they can boost up, but I'm also going to go ahead and go for a dig here, which should put them into farmland range for our Gligar, which now has to still use, of course, one shield, but at least we're going to be able to get enough farm here, as the opponent decides to swap into a Runerigus. Swapping in Runerigus right now in the current meta is not the play. Like, literally, you can either run it as a closer or like as lead. I might want to make a video about this Pokemon as well, especially as you're going to get this most likely fairly soon for Halloween events as well. But very strong Pokemon in the current meta, just not as a safe swap. There are too many Lickitungs around, there are too many Pokemon that you really don't want to encounter with the Runerigus, where you just get hard-walled with. So would not really recommend you to try it out as a safe swap, but really cool as a closer or lead. So here we're going to be able to take great advantage of this, as we're also going to be able to go for a Body Slam here, get the shield, and we can snipe them with our Gligar, getting the Aerial Ace off and getting the knockout here. Final Pokemon going to be the Golisopod, which I don't know why people are running this right now in the Great League so much. Not really the best Pokemon for the Great League in my opinion, but we're going to be able to win this game here if I wanted to, but because we're going to have, of course, the showcase of the Arctibax, we're going to be able to just go ahead, swap into this one, go for Dragon Claw, win this game like this, so they at least saw my final cool Pokemon here, which is, of course, a little bit more spicy. Just in general, I have to say, in the first 15 battles that I did in general with this team here, I encountered basically definitely below 10 different Pokemon, which is kind of showing how stale the current Great League meta went again for Go Battle League. While I like it a lot for the Play Pokemon Tournament, if you've seen like the recent ones, it's not really the best meta right now for the blind format, I feel like. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this one, if you think that the meta is better or worse than last time. I feel like they're kind of similar, to be fair. But I see like a lot of Charizard, Medicham, Lickitung, Registeel, basically all those similar Pokemon, Gligar, of course. Of course, we also have 2 Pokemon of them in our team, but we of course also have a spicier Pokemon with the Arctibax in there. But I just encountered the same Pokemon all over again, as we're going to have now a Lickitung Mirror. I don't think there's anything better than this one here, right? Of course, there is not really anything better than a Lickitung Mirror, but we're going to be able to at least go for a Power Whip here, which is going to hopefully get the knockout from this range, which it does, and now we can at least realign. We're going to get out the Medicham, which is nice, but I'm going to decide to swap out into my Gligar trying to get a shield advantage or something here, or like get rid of the opponent's shield first. But we're going to see that they're going to go into their Charizard, go for the Dragon Claw, allowing us to farm them down. We can now go for an Aerial Ace, and also we're going to be able to get the shield from the opponent with this one. And now it's only a Medicham against my Arctibax as well as my LilyNiRiain, and this was too fast for a Psychic. This is only going to be an Ice Punch, which is going to be neutral, as Ice is the only type that Ice resists, which is kind of funny, and only resists itself. Every other thing is neutral or super effective against Ice typing, which makes it the worst possible, defensive typing in my opinion, so that's a little bit tricky. But here we were able to at least win this game thanks to that. We're going to see now the opponent having a Gligar in the lead as well. You kind of have to keep your Gligar alive with this team, because you're going to have, or at least you're going to need something that's going to be able to counter Medicham. And so we're going to decide to swap out here. The opponent has a shield advantage. This is 99% going to be a Dig, which is going to do more damage. And we want to see the Ferrothorn swapping in. This is not the Pokemon that I expected for like seeing in general today here, but Ferrothorn is actually an interesting Pokemon for the current meta, being able to completely hard lock the opponent's Lantern. But I feel like if Ferrothorn would get just a little bit of a better fast move, it would be so much better to play and such a fun Pokemon to use, as I feel like having a Grass as well as Steel-type Pokemon around would be a really cool thing. So maybe they buff Bullet Seed, which I feel like is kind of underwhelming in general. I feel like there's no Pokemon that really wants to run Bullet Seed that is actually viable, so would love to see something like this. I would generally love to see some 3 or 4 turn moves basically being upgraded, or we're gonna get a few more 5 turn moves. Just a little bit of more variety here. As you can see also with our team, we have 1 Pokemon with a 2 turn move and 2 Pokemon with a 1 turn move, and that's basically what you see the entire time during the meta. Like everybody is just running those 1 or 2 turn fast moves because just the best ones in general, because there is always like the clunkiness if you go above that. But I feel like you kind of want to have a little bit more variety in the meta. But here we're going to be able to win this game fairly easily, as we can move on to the next one, as we're going to have a great lead here. But actually it's not the greatest one for me, because I think at least my Gligar is not able to win this matchup in the 1 shield or something, or like in the 0 shield. There's definitely a breakpoint, I think, for the Gligar if you have a little bit more attack, especially also against LilyNiRiain, which is making my Gligar really bad actually for the current meta. Like I think I talked in a video before it already, you kind of want to have like around like 6 or 7 attack on your Shadow Gligar, which makes it actually kind of nice for you to get it right now, because they are in raids. But yeah, honestly, right now, my Gligar is not really the best one here. And we're going to be a little bit unlucky in this matchup, which at the end of the day does not really going to matter too much, because you're going to have, sadly, with this team, 1 Pokemon that kind of hard walls us, which you're going to see here against us as well. The opponent going to have now the LilyNiRiain here. We're going to be able to farm them all the way down. At least I thought, but no, they're going to survive that, go for a charge move here, and they have 1 HP left and still get to another Body Slam, which is of course great for them, but also kind of unlucky, as they're going to encounter the Sand Slash. Sand Slash is something that we're going to encounter even a little bit more often, but especially in the scenario that we're in right now, there is nothing that I can really do about it. They can just go for an Ice Punch or a Draw Run and just knock me out, because my lead doesn't want to face it. My Say Stop is okay. If they run Shadow Claw, actually LilyNiRiain wins against Sand Slash, so it's not the worst in general. But yeah, just my Pokemon in the back doesn't really want to encounter it either. So this was not really the best game. Next game, we're also going to have a lead that I don't really want to encounter too much with the Cresselia, as we're at least going to get a shield advantage against the opponent's Lantern, which is going to be nice, as they are going to go ahead and go for the Surf, which you're going to let go through. And we should be able to even get another Power Whip off. Even if they go for the Thunderbolt right now, we should be fine, and they do go for the Thunderbolt. And maybe I should have even went for the double Body Slam, trying to... I think actually double Body Slam might do a little bit more damage, but sadly we're going to just die onto the own Body Slam, but we can still go for the Aerial Ace, which should do enough damage to knock out the opponent's Lantern, which is going to be nice for us. We could have also went, of course, into the Arctibax there, but I didn't really want to do this because, yeah, we already still have to deal with the Cresselia somehow. And here we're going to maybe make a mistake by shielding this move up. Honestly, I think this was a huge mistake by shielding like my Frigibax, or like my Arctibax here, because if I had my Gligar still available, I don't die to a Charge Move from the opponent, and I'm still going to be able to be fine against the Swampert as long as I can shield up the Hydro Cannon. So using my shields here right now was most likely a huge misplay by me, so I would not really recommend you to try it out at home. So this might have been the reason for me to lose this battle, but of course, again, as said before, I was not playing perfectly fine. I was a little bit tired. I'm still a little bit tired because it's still the same evening and still like midnight now. But Definitely there was a win con if I played it a little bit differently. So next time if I wanted to replay this one, I would have let the move go through against my Arctibax, keep my shields alive for my Gligar, try to knock out the opponent's Cresselia with my Gligar, and still have the Gligar against the Swampert in order to get them into a range for just one dig with the fast move alone, which would have been really cool. Next Pokemon, which is also going to be a little bit tricky to deal with, is going to be the Dugong. My backline is actually fine for it, like it's neutral, like both Pokemon are kind of neutral, but it's still a little bit awkward as we don't have like a clear answer. This is also one of the reasons why Medicham is just in general so prominent in both the play format as well as the Open Great League. Just there are a lot of Pokemon that, other than like Medicham, don't really have a great counter, and this is like the kind of awkward thing, even though I really would like to see like a meta where Medicham is like Open Great League, but without Medicham, Lantern, and Lickitung. Or maybe also you can still add something like a Registeel or something like this, because I feel like it would be way more open, especially like for other fighting type Pokemon other than like the Medicham. It would be like so more open, especially also to like counter the steel type Pokemon. It would be really cool. But yeah, next game we're going to encounter a Pidgeot with the fast move Gust. This is not really something that I would have expected to see today, but Gust is doing some decent damage. But I'm going to use a shield here just in case they're gonna go for the Brave Bird, which of course I'm going to hope that they go for the Brave Bird, and they do go for the Brave Bird, allowing me to now get out the opponent's alone Ninetales. And this is one of the things where I was so happy that I was able to hit this dig, because like this, the opponent should be in range just for the lick down from my Lickitung here, which is going to be amazing for me because I'm going to be able to get rid of the hardest ends to my Pokemon in the back, also get a ton of energy, but also get damage now onto the opponent's Medicham, which you're going to see here right now going to come in clutch because I can even go for a Power Whip, which they are actually letting go through. And like this, they're going to stand there with two Pokemon that are fairly low health. I still have a shield left, and I will be able to just use my Arctibax and, yeah, basically to just farm them all the way down. Both the Medicham as well as the Pidgeot did not really have any chance of winning this game anymore. The opponent is going to lose this game with two shields left, so they can at least use them in the next game. As you're going to now see the opponent's Lantern here, which is not really ideal. We're going to swap out onto a Charge Move into our Lickitung, which is going to be able to take them a little bit easier. Thunderbolt's still going to hurt quite a bit, but we're going to get out the Ninetales again, which is going to be amazing for me because it's exactly the Pokemon that I want to get out. My Pokemon in the back does not want to face this Pokemon, so it's going to be a perfect setup for me right now. Just go ahead and let this move go through, and I still should be able to get to the Body Slam, which might force a shield from the opponent. Let's take a look at this one. They're going to actually use a shield here, which is going to be so nice. I can just still go for the Aerial Ace, which does mostly not knock them out, I would say. Exactly, but it gives me perfect farm down potential, which is going to come in clutch later on, as well as we're going to see the opponent going to have a Gliscor against us. So what they're going to do here is right now, they're going to go up to a Earthquake, which is going to be, of course, scary because it would one-shot me. But I'm still going to let this move go through because my game plan for the end is to win my game with my lead of the Gligar. And if I don't going to be able to do this, yes, the opponent going to get the buff. It's going to be a little bit tough, but I'm going to be able to just go straight for the dig here. They thought that it's going to be a dig and they're going to use a shield, which is fine, but it does not help them at all because I can still go for another dig and this is going to go unshielded, doing a ton of damage, does not get a knockout, so I'm going to be forced to use two shields against the opponent's serves. But I will be able to even reach the next Aerial Ace in time, which is going to be so overpowered for us, because this is going to get the clean knockout against the opponent. Honestly, Aerial Ace is finally a strong move. Like, it's not, of course, if you just look at the stats, it's just not really a great move in general. But it just gives great coverage to a lot of Pokemon, which is really nice to see. Here we're going to be able to go for another Aerial Ace against the opponent, which is going to have, of course, the Medicham here, where we're going to get the catch done here correctly, which is nice. Ice Punch coming through doesn't really do too much damage, and our Lickitung is actually chunking a bit of the opponent's health, which is nice. They made a great play here by staying in for a little bit and keeping the energy so they can use it later on. But we have now the matchup against the opponent's it's Greedent here, which is going to go for Crunch. Getting the defense drop against us is not really ideal, but we can just go for the Body Slam and retaliate there, as we can even reach another one. They have a shield disadvantage, which is going to be nice. And now I can decide if I want to just go for the full farm down with Dragon Breath, or if I want to go for the Wing Attack down. Wing Attack down going to give me more energy, but they're going to have so much energy stored as well, which makes it a little bit scarier. But let's see if we can farm them all the way. We can farm them all the way, which allows us also now to hopefully do some damage against the incoming Medicham, where we have to, of course, use a shield here as we have an Aerial Ace stored. And we're going to be able to just use this one here, getting the final shield of the opponent, and like this, we are going to not use a shield. And this turns out to be a very great case of where you kind of don't want to use a shield. It was unfortunate. I would have loved to get the aerial ace off. But as you can see, the opponent going to run the lantern in the back. Not really too surprising with the rest of the team being the basic meta line there. But we're going to be able to go for the Dragon Claw. But there's a sad thing about this, because I was fairly certain that this one going to knock out the opponent. But it turns out they survive with 1 HP, which is insane, as I can still get some damage on me. So now I was not sure if 1 Ice Punch is going to be enough to knock me out, but we will never find out, because we can just go for the full farm down and win this game. So let's take a look at the final game of today's video. We're going to see a Kaiwei in the lead. This is going to be a nice lead for us as the opponent decides to swap out into a LilyNiRiain. I'm going to try to weaken them with my own Gligar here, going for an aerial ace, as they're going to use a shield, which is fine for me, as I can just go back into my own LilyNiRiain, and I should be able to win this matchup all the time if I just use one more of my shields here. So here we're going to see the opponent just throwing those body stamps, as body slam is going to be the better move to go for anyway. Just grass knot, or like the power whip here, is just going to do more damage if you can only get to one move. But if you just spam them, body slam with stab is always the better move to go for, as I can see it here from the opponent as well, as they are going to decide to go for another body slam. And now they put me into range for 1 power whip, and I don't really want to be in this range, so I'm going to decide to use a shield here, as this body slam is going to do now no damage, of course, as we can just go for our own body slam. And I think I can just two-shot them with body slam here. I thought that I had to go still for the grass type move here, but no, power whip was not needed. I can just go for another body slam, farm down, get the energy I need, and also we can get some damage against the Charizard, which is going to be fine for us to deal as long as we get some damage onto them, which we have right now. So we can even go for an aerial ace and get the final shield by the opponent, and this is going to be definitely a good game at this point, because we can just let this move go through. It's going to be a Dragon Claw, and now this forces them to throw another charge move against me or swap out, but the Kaiwei definitely does not appreciate this incoming charge move here, as we can just stay in, wait until they throw, because we are flying type, the opponent is forced to throw, and now I can just swap into my Arctibax, and Arctibax is just going to town here. Arctibax is going to go for the full farm down against the opponent's Kaiwei. I have to use 1 shield here though, but no, I don't even have to do this. I can swap into my LilyNiRiain, and like this game is over. So, this is going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed this review of the Arctibax, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.